So going into this fight, when we previewed it, I said Belal Muhammad would have a speed advantage. He's a little more of a technical striker, but for Vicente Luque, his strikes come with a little more consequence, right? When he hits you, it's trouble, it's issues, right? He cuts off the cage, he doesn't let you work your game. But more than the striking, which I thought was put on display by Belal Muhammad, I thought that Bully B's wrestling off the back foot was one of the most beautiful things I've seen in a long time. It's very difficult to get your shot in off the back foot because your opponent could see it coming, get their hips back, all that. He took down Vicente Luque 5 of 10 times, 50% takedown accuracy on a dude who, listen, you don't necessarily want to always take down because his grappling chops are phenomenal. What did you make of this entire situation, brother? Like you said earlier, as you see it happen, it's kind of like, oh shit, this is happening in real time. This is crazy. But when you reflect on it, you're like, well, if this was the way for him to win, this is how he got it done. What do you think?
And it really was the way for him to win, man. Stay on the outside, avoid the big power of Luque, keep the game moving, and the second you can get him down, shoot to those hips, grab him, put him down, dump him down, and control the fight, man. Bully B showed up, and that really is what he was doing, man. He was being the bully in there, putting his power into thing. And the nice thing, man, that I saw about Muhammad, he was eating a couple of those left hooks, and they didn't phase him as much as that first one was. I was just watching the post-fight press conference where he was talking about, I was a little worried that first one was going to hurt or, hit me, and I was going to hurt or go down. A little worried about that, but then in the fight, it happened. Didn't really stress it. It wasn't as impactful as it once was, man. So I was pretty impressed with Belal. I mean, the fact that he's able to control and get to the back for the most part whenever he was on the ground, get to those scrambles, do the ground and pound, 5 takedowns on Luque. Very, very impressive for Belal coming forward, man. How do you feel about him?
I definitely have to agree. I mean, this right here solidifies it. This cements it. Belal Muhammad is no one to be played with anymore. There are no more questions. You beat a dude like Vicente Luque, you are an upper echelon welterweight. I don't care what anybody has to say. So the people in front of you now, you have Gilbert Burns, you have Colby Covington, and Khamzat Chimaev. And obviously Kamaru Usman because he's the champion, right? But those are the only people in front of you. At this point, you've separated yourself from the pack. And the other prediction that we made, AJ, is we said that Vicente Luque, if he wins in devastating fashion, you're probably next up for a title shot. Probably not the case for Belal Muhammad. And unfortunately, I mean, it came to fruition because though Belal Muhammad did win impressively, there wasn't a finish. It wasn't an impressive domination of a victory. It was Vicente Luque was chasing you down, but you're getting the better shots. So let's talk about title implication real fast, my man. Even though Belal gets the win, he knows because he's a smart man. He's a desk guy himself. He says, well, I know I'm not going to get the next title shot. Khamzat's probably going to get that or something. So let me fight Colby Covington. Let me fight the number 1 guy. You know what I mean? So let me fight the guy that's closest to the title that's not the title holder so then I can beat him. And then you can literally not tell me anything because I feel like he's taken the track of I'm going to beat everybody until there's nobody left and you can't deny me any further. I'm not going to ask. I'm not going to wish. He even said, he's like, I'm not going to call out the champ, man. I'm just going to beat Colby Covington and then you're going to have to give me the belt. So what do you think?
I like it, man. It's almost undeniable, especially if he gets to win. If he does to Luque or if Belal Muhammad does to Covington, what he did to Luque, we're gonna be shocked.
Yeah.
Imagine he out wrestles Covington, man. We'll be absolutely shocked. And then he's undeniable. Then he's the next one up for the strap. I think it's a great call going after Covington. I don't know if the fight will play out necessarily as much in Belal's favor as he's thinking, but if he does, man, he's gonna be on a world record pace to shock the world.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you, and I'm thinking big picture here, man. And I want to know if you agree with my sentiment here, because I don't have anything to back this up or to validate it. This is just like a gut feeling. Do you feel like the UFC brass, like the higher up UFC cats, don't want Belal Muhammad to win? You know what I mean? Like they don't want him to rise up that upper echelon. Not only because he is a dude who is kind of pretty staunch, talks his mind and all that. He's a firm supporter of Palestine. I just think that for some reason, man, he doesn't get the hype. He doesn't get any of the stuff that he deserves, man. Like he is literally a wrecking machine right now. 21-3. He's a machine, brother. You just beat Vicente Luque. You got wins over. Let me just pull up some recent wins for Belal Muhammad. You got wins over Stephen Thompson, Davian Maia, Diego Lima. That no contest to Leon Edwards. But I mean, come on, brother. Like you beaten the legends. You just beat the number 4 guy. I still feel like, I don't know, I need to hear Dana White talk about him or something because I just feel like there's not the love that he deserves. What do you think?
I agree with you, Derek, man. They're not giving him anywhere near the love that I feel like he deserves. And even the fact that you haven't heard Dana White talk about him kind of says a lot right there. Usually Dana White comes out the next, that night, has a whole press conference about it. I haven't even seen the clips about that, what he's talking about either, man. So I don't know why they don't give him the love. But he's one that's flying under the radar, whether he chooses to or not.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, brother. But like I said, it's almost undeniable at this point. He is taking the blue collar approach, and you love to see it. You gotta love to see it. You gotta respect it at least. Even if you don't love it, you have to respect it. Some people don't like that he is going a very decision fest style. Some people mock him and say it shouldn't be remember the name, it should be remember the decision, right? So it's like, that's a little harsh because you do need to be a finisher at the grand scheme of things if you want to entertain people. But if you want to win, it doesn't matter how you get it done, just win, and they won't deny you, Habib style. So listen, brother, this was a huge win by Belal Muhammad. The one thing that I want to talk about numbers wise, or I guess I should say X's and O's ish, right, about this fight is that the movement of Belal Muhammad seemed to give Vicente Luque some issues, brother. The lateral, always moving on his bike the whole entire. I mean, it speaks to the gas tank of Belal Muhammad, which is incredible. But I wanted to ask you, there's two schools of thought here. It's either one, Vicente Luque had an off night and he wasn't able to catch Belal Muhammad, he wasn't quite able to get his hands on him, or two, Belal Muhammad's movement was so strategic and so Michael Chiesa-ish, Vicente Luque was struggling with planting down and actually throwing those power shots because when he did, he was getting taken down every time. So which school of thought are you in, AJ?
I'm leaning a little bit more towards the first one, Derek. I'm leaning a little bit more towards it just wasn't Luque's night. It was a lot more. Belal Muhammad was on, and credit to Belal. I don't want to take anything away from him. His movement was crisp. He was staying on his bike the entire time, avoiding being in trouble where he knew he could get caught up in a corner or something like that, and circling out, man. Great game plan. So I could see where the game plan would work and kind of come into effect. But Luque, man, he's one of those ones that cuts off the ring. He knows where you're going. He has that big left hook that hurt Muhammad a couple times. And he has power in his right hand, man. So he was switching stances. Luque was doing all the correct things. I just think he wasn't quite on. I don't know. I know you'll agree with me, Derek, and I don't know the viewers out there. If you've ever played a sport, sometimes you're better than that. Sometimes it's just not your night. Sometimes the ball doesn't go in the way it's supposed to. You don't have that flow. I kind of feel like Luque was a little bit off. I don't want to take anything away from Belal's win because I do think Belal won the fight. Not so much Luque lost it. But it just didn't feel like Luque was being the normal Luque we've seen. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you. And that's why I always had this kind of debate in my own mind. I was like, it's because Luque was off or because Belal Muhammad was giving him a style that threw him off, that he wasn't able to be comfortable with. So I know the jab of Belal Muhammad definitely gave him some problems, definitely disrupted his rhythm and his flow. So either way, man, this was just an awesome performance by Belal Muhammad. And I told you going into it, I'm a huge fan of this dude. I just think Luque was going to win. He's a wrecker. He's a destroyer. But at this point, you can't bet against the man anymore, man. He showed it time and time again. It's almost like, what else do I have to prove at this stage? So shout out to Bully B, shout out to Belal Muhammad, my man. It's one of the most fan favorite. I mean, both of these dudes, right? Neither one, you don't want either one to lose, but shout out to Belal Muhammad. Big win for him. I believe this is 7 in a row for him, either 7 or 8, either one.